The news.
Hello and welcome to our news, the headlines. Officials from Zimbabwe and Zambia have renewed calls for enhanced collaboration in the energy and mining sectors, emphasizing the need for increased investment, greater private sector participation, and faster implementation of cross-border power projects. Patriotic Front presidential aspirant Brian Mundubile has cautioned that President Hakainde Hichilema's recent statement alleging that people harbor hatred towards him may risk fueling tribal and regional divisions in Zambia. The Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Thabo Kawana has reminded the media to intensify reporting on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, GBV. Veteran coach Dan Kabwe has advised Power Dynamos to quickly put their 3-0 defeat to RS Berkane behind them and shift full attention to Saturday's crucial home clash against CAF Champions League defending champions Pirates FC. Join me with the details shortly.
The news. 88.5 Sun FM.
With the news, my name is Mwema Shanshima. Zimbabwe and Zambia have renewed calls for stronger cooperation in the energy and mining sectors, with officials from both countries urging increased investment, greater private sector participation, and accelerated implementation of cross-border power projects. Speaking during the opening of the 2025 Zimbabwe-Zambia Energy Projects Summit in Livingstone, Zimbabwe's Deputy Energy Minister Kuyai Simbangevi said the two countries share common challenges, power outages, but also hold major opportunities through shared resources like the Zambezi River and cross-border mineral deposits. She stressed that these realities make joint energy and mining initiatives essential for long-term regional stability. She highlighted reforms aimed at boosting investor confidence in Zimbabwe, including reduced licensing fees, deputy rebates on renewable energy equipment, tax holidays, and support agreements to cushion investors from political and currency risks. She said private sector participation is expected to rise as Zimbabwe transitions to its new development plan in 2026. The Deputy Minister also underscored Zimbabwe's ambitious targets, including universal access to modern energy by 2030 and full electrification of all rural institutions by 2026. She noted that 8 independent power producers have been cleared to develop 1,000 megawatts in clean core projects, while solar initiatives are expected to add more than 2,000 megawatts to the national grid.
Zimbabwe will also continue to prioritize third-party grid access and to ensure that independent power producers reserve their right to choose an off-taker of their choice, including the utilities at ETDC. To ensure our drive remains on track, we have developed our energy compact, which is an ambitious target of achieving 5,400 megawatts of power supply by 2030. This additional capacity also incorporates renewable energy technologies which we have identified as low-hanging fruit for our energy sector in Zimbabwe. Through the Raw Electrification Fund, we are targeting to electrify all raw institutions by the end of 2026 using both grid and off-grid technologies. As a region, we have the Southern African Power Pool, which is driving the ongoing sub-regional transmission infrastructure financing facility since 2023. We are prioritizing the implementation of cross-border transmission lines and interconnectors such as Mosisa and Sizabona.
Meanwhile, Southern Province Minister Credo Nanjua, who officially opened the summit, said the gathering has grown into a major regional marketplace for power financing and project negotiations. He noted that Zambia has seen a rise in energy sector investment this year, with the Energy Regulation Board approving 29 licenses and 12 construction permits valued at more than 6 billion kwacha. He said Zambia and Zimbabwe are jointly prioritizing new generation capacity, regional interconnectors such as the Zazabona and Batoka Gorge projects, and reinforcement of national transmission networks. He added that investors are in talks with both governments on risk mitigation and financing structures to accelerate progress on large-scale infrastructure.
We must be clear. This summit must never become a talk show. Our citizens, our industries, and our economies need results, not empty promises. Zambia and Zimbabwe are currently experiencing power supply deficits that have negatively impacted households, businesses, and the economy at large. Therefore, our governments and citizens expect practical solutions with respect to enhanced energy security, new and diversified power generation coming online, strengthen transmission interconnectors within and beyond the Southern African region, reinforce national transmission and distribution networks, innovative financing structures, and bankable, investable projects that move swiftly from concept to implementation. Commitment I ask of every participant here. Let us use this platform to unlock deals, secure financing, and build the energy systems that will power Zambia and Zimbabwe.
Patriotic Front presidential aspirant Brian Mundubile has cautioned that President Hakainde Hichilema's recent statement alleging that people harbor hatred towards him may risk fueling tribal and regional divisions in the country. During his recent address, President Hichilema said he was shocked by the level of hatred directed at him, claiming he could see and even touch the venom. But Mr. Mundubile, who is also Mporokoso Member of Parliament, said the head of state missed an important opportunity to unite the nation. He argued that Zambians do not hate the president personally, but are instead frustrated by what he described as the government's failure to fulfill campaign promises. The PF presidential hopeful added that the president appeared to focus more on personal grievances than on outlining how the government intends to tackle the many challenges facing the nation. He further stated that the PF is currently reorganizing itself with the aim of returning to government, not to promote violence as suggested by the president.
Well, what stood out is that the president spent more time defending his government than addressing the real issues the Zambians are facing. There was too much emotion and very little clarity on the cost of living, load shedding, farming inputs, or indeed economic recovery. And also that his charge against of hatred against him will actually entrench tribalism and regionalism and divide the country more than it would unite. The president cannot gaslight the entire nation so dangerously. I mean, if people hate him, it would be because of his failure. As a matter of fact, people don't even hate him. What the Zambians hate are his failures, to fulfill his promises, and his perceived Brazilian regionalism.
Meanwhile, the opposition Democratic Progress Party has urged President Hakainde Hichilema to rise above partisan emotions and personal sensitivities, stressing that criticism is a normal and necessary part of democratic governance. DPP President Antonio Mwanza called on the head of state to abandon what he described as a rhetoric of persecution and victimhood, and instead focus on fostering national cohesion. Mr. Mwanza expressed displeasure with remarks made by President Hichilema during his recent press conference, in which the president claimed that some Zambians hate him and accused the church and the civil society organizations opposing Constitutional Amendment Bill No. 7 of being driven by venom and hatred. He described the president's language as deeply troubling and befitting of a head of state, warning that such perspectives are dangerous to national unity and risk fostering divisions.
As President Hakainde Hichilema must learn to rise above partisan emotions and personal sensitivities. He is answerable to the people of Zambia. Criticism is not hatred. It is a normal and necessary ingredient of democratic governance. Every leader, irrespective of their background, must learn to embrace scrutiny and accommodate differing views and resist the temptation to label those that criticize him as hostilities.
Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Thabo Kawana has reminded the media to intensify reporting on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Speaking during the national launch of the campaign held at the Copperbelt University in Kitwe, Mr. Kawana emphasized the need for the media to encourage citizens to speak out more. He noted that men who are abused by their partners must also be encouraged to report GBV cases to the police, stressing that silence only perpetrates harmful practices.
Well, from the media, in terms of the 16 days of gender activism, is that we must be able to up the game. What I mean is that there is always a loop-sided story when it comes to gender-based violence. And it is almost written that gender-based violence is men attacking women. But there are also women that attack men. So as a media, we expect that you should be able to prop that up and encourage men that even when you are in a situation where gender-based violence is perpetrated against you by a woman or women, report to the police. Don't feel shy. Don't say, I'm a man, I'll take it, but report to the law enforcement agencies.
The House of Clergy Zambia has commended the Zambia Police Service for demonstrating maturity, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to safeguarding national peace and security. National Executive Director Reverend Jimmy Ngambi said the guidance given to the Oasis Forum regarding their planned protest reflected not only sound judgment, but also a deep appreciation of the current national environment, where stability and calm must be preserved above all else. Reverend Ngambi acknowledged and appreciated the decision by the Oasis Forum to adhere to this guidance by channeling their planned protest, describing the move as a gesture of respect for lawful authority and consideration for the broader national interest. He added that the willingness to listen and comply is a positive and commendable step.
To achieve what was discouraged in another form, we urge the organizers to ensure that the gathering remains strictly spiritual, respectful, and aligned with the laws and expectations set to preserve public order. The nation is in a sensitive period, and every action by civil society, religious groups, and citizens must contribute to peace, not uncertainty. Prayer should unite, heal, and uplift.
Catholic Ndola Archdiocese Archbishop Benjamin Piri has reminded Zambians to preserve peace and unity as the nation prepares for the 2026 general election. Speaking during the opening of a new church in Luanshya Central area, Archbishop Piri emphasized that peace should never be taken for granted. He cautioned that while it is easy to start a conflict, it is very difficult to quench it once it begins. The Archbishop further advised the clergy, politicians, and the media to play their roles responsibly by promoting peace and unity, stressing that these values are essential for national stability and progress.
Where two or three have differed, it is our job to try to bring them together if they are in a position to be brought together. You know, sometimes when two people are fighting, all of them might be so stubborn and still have so much strength to fight that you might end up being beaten as the arbitrator who is trying to separate them. But we cannot relent. We will continue to give the advice that is supposed to be given and the prayers that should be given.
Minister of Science and Technology Felix Mutati has emphasized the need for strong partnerships to achieve a robust science, technology, and innovation ecosystem, which he said will drive the national research agenda and respond to government's vision of solving challenges across sectors. Speaking when he officiated at the 2025 Zambia Science, Technology and Innovation Conference and Exhibition themed Harnessing Science, Technology and Innovation for a Resilient Zambia, Innovative Solutions for Sustainable Growth and Inclusive Development, Mr. Stakeholders and government under one national agenda is critical in delivering solutions that positively change the livelihoods of Zambians. He added that the national research agenda is vital in managing sectors and advancing national development through research, technology, and innovation. He encouraged the National Science and Technology Council to lead this agenda by fostering impactful research and addressing challenges despite inadequate funding in the research industry.
The critical success factors on our journey to deliver. And the first thing, colleagues, that we need to do together is that we need a strong coordination of the STI ecosystem. Strong coordination. This coordination must inform what we are calling the National Research Agenda.
At the same event, Minister of Education Douglas Siyakalima disclosed that his ministry has intensified efforts to promote industry-academia collaboration, support technology transfer schemes, strengthen innovation, incubation ecosystems, and encourage commercialization of research outputs. He said integrating research findings into national policies and community practices is key to achieving a transformative agenda.
The
innovation incubations, ecosystems, encourage the commercialization of research outputs, integrate research findings into national policies and community practices. This is how education becomes truly transformative. To young innovators and researchers present here, I want to affirm your central role in shaping Zambia's future. Your creativity, curiosity, and courage to experiment are exactly what this nation needs. I urge you to continue applying your knowledge to develop solutions.
Meanwhile, NSTC Council Chairperson Professor Soft Munsanka noted that Zambia is lagging behind in research and technology development, making it difficult to compete at a global scale due to limited financing. Professor Munsanka urged government ministries to invest adequately in research, stressing that impactful research is essential to solving domestic problems and driving national progress.
Aspirations of the Vision 2030 and the 8th National Development Plan. However, we must acknowledge that as a country, we have not realized our full potential in research and innovation due to low levels of investment. If Zambia is to compete globally and deliver homegrown solutions to its challenges, we must commit to increasing national investments in research and innovation and to ensure that
ZESCO Limited has reaffirmed that Zambia's transition toward increased solar generation will not diminish the country's long-standing reliance on hydropower, stressing that Kariba system is being used as a stabilizing battery to balance intermittent solar supply. ZESCO Business Development Director Fitzgerald Kapepe said the utility continues to attract investment in both solar and hydro, but noted that solar remains variable and requires dependable hydro generation to maintain grid stability. He explained that Kariba, jointly operated with Zimbabwe, is currently being used as a balancing mechanism to regulate fluctuations from solar producers. Mr. Kapepe said ZESCO has established a balancing arrangement with companies investing in solar, enabling hydropower to cover gaps created by variable generation. He added that dispatchable hydro resources allow the utility to regulate and fill in shortfalls when solar output drops. He highlighted that several large hydro projects are advancing under private sector investment, including a 180 megawatt project in Western Province, noting that upcoming plants will continue to anchor national supply. He further stated that demand for reliable energy will intensify as more consumers adopt solar solutions, but maintained that hydro will remain the backbone of Zambia's electricity mix. He concluded by noting that ZESCO will continue strengthening balancing mechanisms to ensure stability as more renewable projects come online. You are watching and listening to the Sun FM Sunset News. We'll take a break. When we return, we have more in sports.
Sound the drums louder.
Feel the rhythm of the nation.
From every corner of Zambia.
The biggest celebration of Zambian music is here.
This November, prestige is legacy.
Excellence is greatness.
Honor is respect.
The annual Kwacha Music Awards are back for the 7th edition on Saturday, November 29th, 2025.
And Mulungushi International Conference Center.
At 19 hours, don't miss the red carpet experience at 18 hours.
Limited tickets available at CompuTicket in all ShopRite outlets nationwide. Charges are 150 Quattro Terraces, 300 Quattro Standard, 1,000 Quattro VIP, 2,000 Quattro VVIP. Premium charges at the door.
Nominations courtesy of partner radio stations across the country.
Don't miss the greatest night of Zambian music.
And performances by the biggest artist in Zambia.
Sun FM Quattro Music Awards. Prestige.
Excellence.
Honor.
And now in sports news, veteran coach Dan Kawe has urged Power Dynamos to put their 3-0 defeat to RS Berkane behind them and focus entirely on Saturday's crucial home clash against CAF Champions League defending champions Pyramids FC. Speaking in an interview with online publication Bola News, Kawe advised the technical bench to improve tactics and work on the team's weaknesses, stressing that the Ndola-based side still has what it takes to bounce back. Power Dynamos endured a tough start to the CAF Champions League campaign, leaving them joint bottom of Group A alongside Nigeria's River United, who also lost 3-0 to Pyramids. This Saturday, the 1999 Mandela Cup champions will host Egyptian giants Pyramids FC at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Ndola. Kawe expressed conviction that Power Dynamos can win the game and redeem their chances of progressing to the knockout stages on March Day 2. And on that sporting item ends our news. Before we go, a recap of the stories making headlines. Officials from Zimbabwe and Zambia have renewed calls for enhanced collaboration in the energy and mining sectors, emphasizing the need for increased investment, greater private sector participation, and faster implementation of cross-border power projects. Patriotic Front PF presidential aspirant Brian Mundubile has cautioned that President Hakainde Hichilema's recent statement alleging that people have a hatred towards him may risk fueling tribal and regional divisions in Zambia. The Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tabo Kawana has reminded the media to intensify reporting on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, GBV. And finally in sports, veteran coach Dan Kawe has advised Power Dynamos to quickly put their 3-0 defeat behind them and shift full attention to Saturday's crucial home clash against CAF Champions League defending champions Pyramids FC. Thank you so much for joining us on behalf of the entire news crew and production team. My name is Mwema Shanshma. Stay tuned to Sun FM TV and radio. Bye-bye for now.
The news, 88.5 Sun FM.
The long-awaited MTN Super League is here and is live on Top Star.